We just defined trustworthy. Now you're going to have an opportunity to see why trust is so critical to positive outcomes for leaders, teams, and organizations. Also, we're going to introduce you to the three major components of trust.
So let's talk about the trust process, okay? Primarily what we're going to talk about today is these three elements of trust, and that is integrity, intentions, ability, right? It's those three things together that create trust. Now, here's why this matters. Trust isn't just, well, it's not, we're not just doing this because it's a nice thing to have or something like that. But we know there is evidence, there is ample research and evidence and experiential evidence that when trust exists in an organization, when a trust exists between leaders and followers, supervisors and subordinates, there's an increased level of information sharing. Okay? Now, why is that important? There's information sharing that goes upward. In other words, your staff is actually much more likely to tell you how things are actually going on the floor, on the front lines, if there's a trusting environment. The evidence is also that we have more effective teams, that people get along better. They don't have to worry about backbiting or manipulation or who's out to get whom when there's a trusting environment. And finally, and probably most importantly, the evidence is clear that when there is trust in an organization, there is enhanced productivity. All right? So it's integrity, intentions, ability, creating that trust, which leads to this outcome. Now, what about when there's not trust? What about when these things don't happen? What do we see organizationally? Well, that's also pretty obvious from the evidence. When people report that they work in environments where there is no trust, they're less satisfied. There's less job satisfaction, and they're less committed to their organization. So what do we see? We see lower task performance. In layman's terms, people don't do, their work is not as good. Okay? They just don't work as hard. We see fewer OCBs, and that stands for organizational citizenship behaviors. We see fewer of those things where employees are helping one another, or employees are giving that discretionary effort, or going out of their way to help the agency. And what do we see an increase of? Turnover. If I don't trust you as my supervisor, I'm probably not going to be there very long. The next time even a reasonable job offer or opportunity comes along, I'm taking it because we don't like to live in non-trusting environments. Okay? So this is absolutely fundamental that you and I as leaders, as managers, we say, okay, we can't afford these negative things that we're seeing here on the side, and we have to have better productivity because as leaders, that's what we're trying to accomplish. So let's look at this trust process and take these things, integrity, intentions, and ability, one by one. The first thing we want to focus on, of course, is integrity.